I swear by this process. So many of us, once we hit like plus 45 or get into this stage of life, can start to feel a little lost. Hi everybody, so good to see you. I'm Jen, welcome to the channel. I just wanted to take some time and talk about my morning routine because my morning routine has really been transformational for me on my midlife glow up. I've been waking up later, which has been glorious, but I'm kind of afraid of crashing and burning in the summer, which can happen to a lot of people in education. If you're somebody like me, who really appreciates their schedule, not necessarily having a schedule can really throw you off, and it does for me all the time. But some hard, fast things that always help me stay in check is my morning routine. I adopted my morning routine from Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning. The Miracle Morning has been pretty transformational for me. It has given me a way to apply the top 6 techniques that some of the most successful people in the world do and start my day off, no matter what, with a win. So I figured, let me just go ahead and get this started. And I'm going to be plugging some other YouTube channels and some other resources in here that I use on a regular basis as part of my routine. So Hal had created the Miracle Morning and he came up with the acronym SAVERS. SAVERS stands for silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. Scribing being journaling. When Hal had experienced a really deep depression in his life, he was seeking a way to get himself out of it. And what he realized is that those 6 techniques are used by some of the most successful people in the world, maybe not all bundled together, but the majority of these people at least practiced one of these particular techniques. So Hal's idea was, what if I do all 6 of them every day? It can actually be quite simple. The very first thing is meditation. Meditation is how I start every morning. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be some crazy transcendental meditation, although I was raised with that. I'm very comfortable with that. I actually don't do that type of meditation right now. I usually do a guided meditation. And my favorites for that are Connie Wright, who moved her meditations off YouTube onto her own website, and Boho Beautiful. Boho Beautiful is probably my favorite channel right now. They have a ton of different types of guided meditations, all that have different themes. They're really easy to follow. And the most important for me is there are 10-minute options. That's about the amount of time I have available on a busy morning to meditate. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes, but usually I can do 10 minutes. So there's the silence. The next part is affirmations. And lately during the summer, my affirmations have actually changed a bit. So there's this other YouTube channel called Wake Me Up, is a channel that's based on affirmations and, again, meditation. So I love listening to Tyler's affirmations when I'm walking my dogs in the morning. Now, I don't have that ability during the school year, but during summer, I will get up, I'll meditate, I'll do the rest of my savers, but then I'll save the affirmations and reading for my walk with my dogs. So I'm out in nature and I get to smell the fresh air and hear the chirping of the birds. I will walk with only one AirPod in, or sometimes I'll just walk with my phone playing the meditation out from the fanny pack that I'm wearing so I don't have anything in my ears, because it's important that you're always aware of your surroundings. Those affirmations can be all sorts of different types that are necessary for me. I love the positive energy ones. During the school year, when I'm waking up super early, like 3:45 in the morning, I actually have my own personal affirmations that align to my goals. So my goals are YouTube channels, developing and deepening friendships, developing and deepening my relationships with my family, financial success and preparation, and just organization and planning in general. Those are all ones. Oh, and I have bodybuilding affirmations in there as well. I have 6 that are very personal to me that I'll use when I'm not doing my walking affirmations. So you have your silence, you have your affirmations. The next part is visualization. Visualization is just as simple as you either visualizing how you want your day to go. How do you want to be and how do you want to show up in your day? And this is really important because if you think about it, many of us go through our day without being intentional about how we put ourselves out there. So when I'm taking the time to visualize what a successful day will look like for me, how I will show up at the gym, how I will show up at work, what kind of mentality will I have at work, how will I seek to serve those around me, how will I show up and seek to serve my family, all of those things really set the frame in my mind for me to go through and have a successful day. Visualization can be really powerful. You can use visualization when you're walking if you want to as well. You can do visualization for long-term success, and you can also do visualization just for short-term, for the day, for the month. I do both. So I have certain visualizations that I do that have to do with long-term future goals. And then I'll have visualization, which I'll most often do as part of my morning routine. Then I will have visualizations that pertain to the day's goals. Exercise. If you've seen any of my videos, you know how I feel about exercise. I feel like exercise is the fountain of youth. It has certainly been that for me. It helps keep my mind right and my body strong. I want to live strong and long, independently for as long as I possibly can. In order to do that, I need to develop my strength, my body, and my cardiovascular health. All of those things are super important. This does not mean that every morning I lift. I do not. So my bare minimum for my morning routine for the exercise component is just 10 minutes of cardio. During the winter when I'm not outside as much, I'll bump that up to 20 minutes or a half hour of cardio. On the days that I train in the gym, that is my exercise for the day. But the days I'm not training in the gym, because I usually will have 2 to 3 days off, I will go downstairs or do a half hour walk outside. The important thing is the intention that I'm purposefully exercising my body for my health. There's something about that tying together your intention with action, and it helps start the day with a win. All of the savers do that, but specifically exercise I find is crucial for me getting my head right, getting it in the game, and feeling like I'm successful for the day. After exercise, we have reading. Reading has been so powerful, and I have a different way of doing reading than I think quite a few other people who practice the Miracle Morning. The concept of reading in the Miracle Morning process is that you find a book that speaks to you or a self-development book that is going to make you better in some way. Some people choose to work on a deficiency that they might have or a personal project of themselves. That's usually what I do. Recently, I've done a couple of books that seem great for personal development. Right now, my favorite is The 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. I heard about Sahil Bloom from the Rich Habits podcast. The Rich Habits podcast also counts as part of my reading. So the 5 Types of Wealth have been so insightful to help me take a look at what I truly value and how wealthy I am in different areas of my life. I highly recommend it. It's an easy read. And this is how I go about my reading in my Miracle Morning. I have spiritual stuff that I read, 2 separate pages I'll do daily of spiritual reading and asking for guidance through the day. And then I have the personal development part of that, and that's what this book is for. When I am examining a new book for my Miracle Morning, I first listen to it. There's a couple reasons. One, as I've shared before, I am dyslexic and I take in information better auditorily than by reading. Second, I like to have the reading as a second part of that process because it really helps. I listen to the book first. And if I really like the book and I think it's going to be of value, then I buy the physical book. And I will do both at the same time. I will be a little ahead in my listening and follow up with the actual physical reading of the book. I like to underline, I like to make notes. And so I feel like I really get into books when I write in them and I write my own personal notes. So the reading part of the Savers is where we get to really focus on what aspects about ourselves do we want to develop. And I'm going to use that as a segue to go back to something that Elrod said that really spoke to me. He was relaying a story where he shared about his difficulties with one of his mentors. And he was sharing how he wanted to be more financially successful. His mentor said, how can you have that success when you haven't become the person who can maintain and develop it? That spoke to me because there's been so many times in my life where I've wondered, well, why can't I be more financially successful? Well, I can't be more financially successful because I hadn't learned about personal finance, the process of investing. And I hadn't invested the time to grow myself in that area. And that's what he was talking about. He wanted this 10x kind of life, yet he was a 1x kind of person. And that's what the reading part of the Miracle Morning is directly addressing to me. It's helping me develop myself into becoming the person I need to be to have the life that I want to have, or the life that has the goals in it that I want to achieve. So for me, I started off with The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, which was a great book for me, and it really attacked my disordered thinking about finances. I followed it up with A Simple Path to Wealth. The beginning of my Miracle Morning was very finance related because I really needed an overhaul in those areas. So reading, I will do an audiobook and then a hard book, but I also learned to incorporate podcasts and videos because all I need is something that's going to develop me as a person. The Rich Habits Network or the Rich Habits podcast became invaluable to me and a huge learning tool to help me learn more about personal finance. The Money Guy Show was also helpful, but I'd have to say the Rich Habits podcast, bar none, the best podcast I found, especially for somebody starting out like me, to start making wise decisions about how to invest. Sadly, I started listening at 51. I wish I had been listening at 31, but it's all okay. I'm still learning. The last part is the scribing part. I write as the last part of my morning routine. It does not have to be long, but when I have the time, I do like it to take more time. Right now in Sahil's book, the exercise is developing your life's razor or saying the thing that focuses you. So that's the writing assignment that's going into the last part of my Savers. When I'm reading a self-help book that has certain actions to take with writing, that's when I will take part of this book. So when I'm reading a book that has certain components in it that require action as far as writing, that's become the scribing part of my Savers. When I don't have a specific exercise to do, it might be a general mind dump of what's going on or some concerns that I have. This morning I was writing about a dream I had from somebody in the past, which was interesting. When I don't have a focus, I like to employ a little bit of the Artist's Way technique. The Artist's Way is a book about accessing your inner creative or your inner artist. One of the activities in this book is called the Morning Pages. The Morning Pages is 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing, just getting it all out. I had major breakthroughs doing morning pages in the past. When I don't have a particular focus or I just don't feel like having a focus, I will do morning pages. It's truly stream of consciousness. I could start writing about how I need to do laundry and I got behind in housework and what about this show, and then things pop into mind that I put at the very top, like a list of things to do. It's just a mind dump. The concept is when you do that type of mind dump, you are freeing space in your mind to be more receptive to the creative nature of the universe. And I have found this to be true for myself. Now, I have just outlined a whole bunch of information. Some of you might be thinking, yeah, Jen, thanks, but no thanks. There is no way I am going to be able to take the time I need to do the miracle morning or to do this type of morning routine. Yes, you can. On mornings that I am super busy, I will do 2 minutes apiece. A 2-minute meditation, 2 minutes of affirmations, 2 minutes of visualization, 2-minute exercise. I could do 2 minutes of ab crunches, 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of lunges, or I can really stretch. I have neck issues. I could work on my neck. 2 minutes of reading and 2 minutes of scribing. That's just 12 minutes, people. That's not a ton of time. But the thing that's transformational about the miracle morning is it forces you to put yourself first and to take care of your own personal development. I know I talk a lot about my general journeys in midlife and how interesting this process has been, but I think it's really important that we harness this idea. You can let life happen to you, or you can show up for life and have some influence in it. I grew up in a family where life happened to you and you were a victim of circumstances. I don't choose to live that way anymore. It doesn't mean bad things are not going to happen. Of course they will. This is life. Everybody gets that turn on the merry-go-round where things go completely sideways. But because I've taken this time to take care of myself, I am better able to handle those things. So in wrapping up, I will tell you what my focuses have been. So my very first miracle morning, I started this 2 Januaries ago. So this would be January 2023. I started the miracle morning reading The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And my focus was learning personal finance. I was terrified of numbers and money. And even though I managed spreadsheets and stuff, I just felt ignorant about personal finance and investing. I didn't understand any of it. So I decided I was no longer going to let fear stop me from learning about this. I needed to start taking control of this and not let this happen to me. I'm 50 years old. I need to jump in the pond here and start treading water and learn what I need to learn, because I got 12 years before I possibly retire. I did have some savings and a retirement fund, but nothing I was ever active in. And I didn't understand how badly they were underserving me. And the moment I started thinking about that, I'd get so overwhelmed. So I focused my miracle morning, and this is how it can be super powerful. Think about this. Think about a trait that you have, or an inadequacy that you have, or something, a shortcoming that you have that you want to fix, that you don't like about yourself. What if that one thing became the focus of your miracle morning? Where when you meditate on ways to improve that. Your affirmations are all affirmations to help you overcome that. Your visualization is all visualizations to overcome that, succeed that, win in that scheme of life as far as that topic is concerned. Reading, you're obviously reading to overcome whatever obstacle this is. And when you're writing, you're doing writing exercises to help you with that. That's the wonderful blank template of the miracle morning, is that you can put any problem in the miracle morning and then use the miracle morning as this highly focused, laser-like tool to address these areas of your life. You can do it to improve your marriage or your relationship. You can do it to improve your parenting skills. I have done it to do finance, was my focus for nearly a year, including all my reading and the podcasts that I listened to, personal finance and learning as much as I could about investing. That was a full year's focus. I did 30-day challenges where I would change them up. Also, while I'm saying this about the books, once I listen to the book and I get the physical book, I write and take notes. I go through it one more time, just reading my highlights. By the time I am done and ready for a new book for the Miracle Morning, I have gone through that book 3 times. I've never internalized anything like I've internalized stuff for the Miracle Morning, which has been amazing for me. If you're choosing a book for the Miracle Morning, consider trying it like I have, listening and then doing once through reading and then going through again and reading your highlights. When I'm doing the reading for Miracle Morning, it can sometimes just be a page. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. I love the Miracle Morning. I don't feel right if I don't do it. According to my counter for the Miracle Morning, I have been doing the Miracle Morning now for 540 days. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. I don't know anybody in the organization. It's just something that works. I also bought their app because I like cute, clear app-like things that give me checklists. So you can see that I've yet to do my affirmations and my visualization today. Actually, no, I did do my affirmations because I went on my walk with my dogs and I listened to Wake Me Up. I just didn't visualize yet today, so I will do that. I like to use the app, especially for those days where there's a time crunch. It will bring you through the savers super quick, but you do not need an app to do the Miracle Morning. So I hope this is helpful to some of you. Life is changing very quickly. Our family is changing very quickly. And sometimes the best way to weather all that change is to root ourselves in a new system. So this is my system. I hope you find that helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Take care. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing. All that really does help me. Bye.